Good afternoon, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. My name is Phil. It's post-match live and we're going to talk about Leicester City. Obviously, that's what we do. We've just gone to Burnley, took the lead, 1-0, Harvey Barnes. Good finish, good move, good tackle by Dennis Pratt. Wheels have really fell off a little bit in that game, haven't they? Ross Howard is watching, David Hart is watching. Get your views in, get your comments in. I'll read out as many of them as I can. I want to know what you guys think about today's game away at Burnley. Obviously, as you can see, I've not been there, I've been watching it on TV. Anthony Howard is there for us and he'll be giving us a live video which we'll put up very shortly. But what I want to know is I want to get your views on what you've just seen. Many of you will have watched it on TV. Some of you will have been at the match. Get your views in, get your comments in, let us know. Was it different if you were up there at the game? Daz Eden is watching, Alison Green is watching. Alison said it was like watching Southampton all over again. Scored and then didn't do much after that. I have edited what Alison says there. Ross Howard says we got lazy and complacent after the Burnley first goal. January and Vardy don't go together. Michael James is watching, Darren Robbo is watching. Get your views in. Leon Tebber and Brad Lingard, good evening, get your views in. Luke Harrison says, I know I feel like crying, we miss Ndidi so much. Did we miss Ndidi today? I think we did, but things have, Ndidi's missed the last couple of games. Something's not quite right at the moment. Since that Norwich game, the 1-1 game before Christmas, things haven't quite felt right. I know we went and won well away at West Ham and Newcastle, but we didn't perform against Man City very well and we took the lead there, don't forget. We really didn't turn up against Liverpool. And the Southampton game today, again, we were 1-0 up today, let them get back into it, and then we had the penalty, not the best penalty by Jamie Vardy. Pope's a big keeper, but not a great penalty from Jamie Vardy today, needed to put that in really. And was there another shout for another penalty? I'm scratching a little bit to say that Ben Mee leaned in a bit with his arm, and I don't know if VAR looked at it or not, but frustrating. Reece Taylor saying that was an absolute farce. Matty Smith said, miss Ndidi far too much, get Emre Can from Juventus on loan now. I do think we do need this. If this proves one thing to me, is it's Leicester need to get into the transfer market if we want to keep in that top 4 Champions League position and have a real go at the FA Cup and League Cup. I do think that we do need to bring in a couple of players. You know, I think we need a decent striker. We need a plan B type striker. I don't think we're going to get one. But just too many players having a 5 or 6 out of 10 performance today. Casey Darnell says it was a banker for Woods to score today. I agree with you. Always think Chris Woods is going to score against us. Jason Tite says it was a poor final ball and poor finishing. David Barker says was to be expected at the moment. Please keep getting your views and comments in. Yeah, Casey Danielle says me handball. It was a bit of a handball. He certainly leant in and it seemed to hit him around this area. I don't know if VAR's looking. I think that was potentially a penalty. Mike Jenner is saying missing Ndidi so bad. Daniel Knight says what a joke. Lee Marie, thanks for watching. Lee Marie says not enough quality in midfield and especially up front. I agree, and I'm always going to say no on Mark Albrighton again. I'd have Mark Albrighton starting from the kickoff, let alone not appearing from the bench. Didn't play 1 minute of today, and he didn't play 1 minute against Southampton. For me, I don't understand what Mark Albrighton has to do to be getting a sniff in the team at the moment. I really don't. What did you think? I can't really ask for a man of the match today. I know we put the post up as ever. Who was your man of the match today? I think that's a struggle today. I thought there was a few who had very average games. Again, I'm going to pick on Perez. I don't think he had that good a game. I know Harvey Barnes scored a goal and got a penalty. I don't think Harvey Barnes had an amazing game. Probably a better game than he has done. Get back to your comments here. James Fraser says something needs to change. New system or new players. We are too predictable. I agree, James. And we're getting found out too easily. Has the rest of the Premier League worked out how to beat Leicester City now? Alison Green says absolutely gutted. Kevin Robinson says we haven't been the same since Liverpool. I agree with you on that, Kevin. I think that game, I don't know if we were believing our own press that we were in the title race, because we were, but we were in the title race and it feels like we've been gutted, literally gutted in that Liverpool game. So I agree with Kevin Robinson there. Chris Townsend says that was a shocking performance. Too complacent, urgently need 4 new players in, and why sub Pratt again? Been better to take Mendy off for Tielemans. Again, Tielemans didn't really come on and do much, if I'm honest. And Pratt, I thought Pratt was probably one of the better players today, if I'm honest. Rudy Ahern says dreadful and game management, us not there. I'm going to say it, if that was this time last year, you would all be shouting your roof of your heads off about last year's manager who played a team like that. Dave Culver says God knows why he's starting Perez. I'm not totally sure either, Dave, apart from the fact we bought him for £30 million, and I think that is why that's why I think Mark Albrighton isn't in the team, because we didn't buy him for 40 million quid in the summer. And people like Tielemans and Perez and even Barnes seem to be getting regular slots and not doing much today. Darren Pick says, garbage, I'm afraid, just need the result, but the style and quality we showed was substandard. KC Danielle says, knew Vance would miss. I had a funny feeling as well. We were watching it and we both said, before he took it, I think he's going to miss it. I don't know why. Franco says, Maddison, awful, gets worse week by week, very, very selfish. I don't know. Do you think, here's a question issue, do you think Maddison is starting to read too much in all this press speculation about a big move to Man United? Is there background transfer talks going on? Is there new deals being signed for Maddison? Rumoured to be not on massive wages at Leicester City compared to some of the other players at Leicester, and certainly not on the wages like people are on at Man United. I don't know, has his head been turned a little bit? Gav Smith, totally agree with Gav, says don't seem to have a plan B at the moment. We didn't, we went down with 12 minutes plus injury time to go. Didn't really see lots of urgency in that last 15 minutes. Andy Price says there was no urgency and we don't seem to be pressing from the front anymore. Brad Lingard says we do need to sign some new players. I agree with you, Brad. Who do we need to sign, Brad? Let me know. Put in the comments. Baz Phoenix says dreadful, shocking performance today. Shocking form. A lot of negativity. It's hard to pull a positive after losing at home to Southampton near the bottom of the table, losing away to Burnley near the bottom of the table. Not good at all. Dave Felstead says went downhill after we missed the penalty and sounded awful on the radio. KC says Burnley were 14-1 at half time to win. I suppose if you'd have had a bet on that KC at half time, at least it would have given you a bit of cheer. Stephen Price says Burnley right back should have been sent off. Rev never spoke to him, so why did VAR not step in the second time as they were, and why was Wood not booked for jumping all over Cags all game? I think, Stephen, I know what you're saying. I think to be fair with you, Stephen, I think you're just scratching around to try and come up with excuses there. We had chances. Listen, we were 1-0 up and we threw it away to 1-1. Then we had a chance at a penalty to make it 2-1. We missed it. Fair play to Burnley. They dug in. Burnley looked, I'm going to say it, I think Burnley looked like they wanted to win more than us today, and they did win. Do you agree with that statement or not? That's the simple one. Burnley looked like they wanted to win it today much more than we did, and they did win it. And I think they deserved it. Mike Jenner says, agree about the me handball, but there was no VAR. Jamie North says Vardy scores that penalty, it's 3 points, and then nobody's moaning, misses it, and all hell breaks loose. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Jamie, but you've got to remember, not only did Jamie Vardy miss a penalty, they then went down the other end and scored. So it wasn't just Vardy scores or not scores. He missed it. They went down and scored at the other end. So I think that is why people are moaning slightly, and people are moaning because we were second in the league. We were in a title chase, and since that Norwich game, I know we've won twice, but we've also lost. The wheels have come off for me since the Norwich game. That Norwich game, they found us out, that game. I know we got away with a draw that day against Norwich, but they found us out, and I think other teams have studied Leicester, and they know how to defend against us, and they know how to attack against us. And you know, what's the date today? January the 18th, 19th today, is it? For me, we want to stay in the top 4. We need to bring in a player or two to ruffle some feathers and to make people pull their socks up a little bit. I think that's what's lacking today and last week against Southampton. Bit of pull your socks up and a bit of, I don't know, there's just something gone out there. The passing's not as fast. The movement's not as fast. The balls aren't as quick. it's like 70% of what we were seeing back in November. That's my views. Andy Mulling says, we can't be losing to the bottom teams. We need to play hard for 90 minutes, not just 45. Gary Newman says, not finishing the game off, got to take your chances. Jane Nelson says, are we still third? I think we still are, of course. Mikey Hayden says, maybe fatigue setting in, played like we had won already after we scored. Maybe. I can't be done with this fatigue and tiredness. Players are tired nonsense. I really, really can't. Daniel Fox saying, crosses in were so poor today. Albrighton must be proper you know me, I'm very, very clear that I think Mark Albrighton not only should feature in the games, I think Mark Albrighton should start. I do not know why Mark Albrighton did not come on against Southampton when we are losing. I do not know why Mark Albrighton did not come on today against Burnley when we've lost. I do not know. I honestly do not know. Frustrating. Anthony Beebe says it's absolutely shocking performances playing relegation football. Not quite. Listen, we did pick up points away against West Ham and Newcastle, but the last two have been very, very poor. If you agree with me, give us a like. If you're watching, give us a like. If you agree that it's been poor, but give us a love if you've still got faith that Leicester City are going to turn this around very quickly. Of course, we've got West Ham on Wednesday. I'm not going to talk about West Ham tonight. Don't forget, we'll do a fan zone show tomorrow night at 7:30. I've got Nick Hodges joining me from Bodie Hodges, hopefully tomorrow on the show. And Melanie says, we underperformed today for sure. Unfortunately, she says, yeah, I would say unfortunately. Please keep getting comments in. There's been so many comments come in, I am scooting down to the bottom to try and catch up with you all. Anthony Beebe says, tired, rubbish, the whole league has played the same amount of games. I agree with you, Anthony. I'm not having it. I'm not taking that. We're tired, we're fatigued. Honestly, I'm just not having that. It was just like Nicola Green says, it was a poor performance. Luke Cragg says, Maddison was hounded by Barnsley, bullied and fouled tactically. No one today gave us good as they got to soft against these teams. Too soft. Yeah, I understand. Fuchs was poor today, says Alison Green. I thought Fuchs was okay. But he did, again, I did see Fuchs give the ball away today a few times. If that had been Ben Chilwell, we'd have all been on his backs, no doubt. Neil Mystery from 100% says Burnley were amazing today. I thought Burnley played like Burnley do, Neil. I thought they played hard, they fought hard, and they did well. Mark Curtis says, I love the club always, but we'll come on, Phil, same subs every game. Perez can change a game, so why take him off? Yeah, I think that's interesting, Mark, about Perez. Again, I am going to say it. The jury is out for me for Perez. If you ask me, would I rather have Mark Albrighton or Perez on the pitch? I am, without a shadow of a doubt, I would rather have Mark Albrighton on the pitch. Do you agree with me or not? That's just my opinion. Honestly, I'd rather have Mark Albrighton on there because he's involved. He's a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Every minute of every game he is on the pitch, Mark Albrighton. He gives you 7 or 8, 10 out of 10 performances every minute of every game he's on the pitch. And I'd take that. Perez can give you 10 out of 10 some of the time. And then a lot of the time he can give you a 5 or a 6, maybe a 7 out of 10. And then there's other times, if I'm honest with Perez, I think he's a 2 out of 10. He's like this, Perez. He's in and out the game. Sometimes he's magic. Sometimes he's amazing. Some of his skills. Is Perez a better player than Mark Albrighton? Yes. I mean, is he a different type of player? Yes, I agree. They're slightly different players. Perez a better player than Mark Albrighton? Yes. Is he consistent? No. Is Mark Albrighton consistently that 7 or 8 out of 10? I don't want to turn this into a Mark Albrighton bleating session, but I would have him on all the time instead of Perez or Barnes. I really would. I'd rather have Owen, Denny. So listen, you guys don't have to agree with me. If you want Perez, if you think Perez, Barnes, Gray, they're all better, that's fine. I'm a big Mark Albrighton fan, and I don't know why he's not featured the last 2 weeks. Owen Danny Bates says, I'd rather have Albrighton's socks on the pitch than Perez. I wouldn't quite go that far. Mark Curtis says he agrees about Mark Albrighton. Casey says Ricardo's gone right off the boil. I think Ricardo's still offering quite a lot. Just it's not quite coming off for him, maybe. Jack Marsden saying we should have had Albrighton on today and should have took Barnes off. Al Max says, how did we lose this today? Alison Green saying she'd rather see Albrighton over Perez. Chaz Hawley saying Albrighton all day. Derek Law saying, agree with you, Perez is overrated. I don't mind. If you love Perez, put it in the comments. Absolutely fine. Listen, it's been a tough one. Thanks for all your comments today. Don't forget, we'll do loads more tomorrow night, 7:30 on the Fan Zone show. So I'll see you then, 7:30 p.m. on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Will be live across the whole platforms tomorrow night. Keep the faith, as they say. And we're back to using that one. Keep the faith. Keep the faith, Leicester fans. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.